If today is an average working day in Canada, 3 workers will be killed on the job or die because of an occupational disease. Hundreds will be seriously injured, and thousands of families, communities, and workplaces will be affected. For Tara Elliott and her family, this sad fact rings true. Tara is a 2024 Steps for Life National Family Spokesperson. On June 6, 2019, she received news that her father, Stephen Brown, was killed at work. Tara's life changed forever.
I got a phone call from my mom, and I thought to myself, oh, that's strange. She knows I'm at work. What could this be? And I answered the phone call, and she was frantic. She was immediately panicked, which made me panic. And I thought immediately to my 2-year-old son, who he had a history of already visiting the emergency room a couple of times. And so I thought of him immediately. But when she said, your dad, there was an accident, I didn't know what to think, because I was like, an accident? Isn't he at work? A car accident? What kind of accident? But she said she's going to the hospital. She needs me to meet her there. So I gathered up what I was doing and I finished what I was doing at work. I don't know why I didn't just drop everything and leave, but I was frantic and not thinking clearly. So I left to go to the hospital, went the completely wrong direction, and ended up just taking me an extra 10 minutes to get there. But by the time I was pulling into the hospital emergency lot, my sister was pulling in right behind me. So I knew that I had to get there at that time, and those turns were, it was meant to happen the way it did. Anyway, we get into the emergency room, and my sister and I ask about Stephen Brown at the reception desk, and the look that they gave us. I remember the look on their faces, that they knew that that something was wrong, and we knew something was really wrong. So they took us to a back room, and my mom was already waiting there with social workers and the doctor. And at that point, we all knew. My mom was sobbing, and my sister threw her bag across the room, and I just screamed, what happened? Because we knew he was gone. My dad was a machinist, a very experienced machinist. He worked for 25 years. He mentored many people, and he knew his job well. But on this morning, at about 9 o'clock in the morning, he was working on a lathe that he was working on a piece called a bearing block. And he put it in the truck, and nobody really knows what happened, but that piece flew out of the machine. It hit the tool post and bounced back and hit him in the chest. And we were told it likely killed him immediately. But his coworkers did have to respond to the emergency and work on him. They put an AED on him. They tried their best, but nothing was bringing him back. And by the time my mom had got that phone call, he was already gone. This day, everything about this day is so vivid in my mind that I can recall it detail by detail. And this is how his death has affected me and my family. We were such a tight, close-knit family too, that he was the patriarch of our family. So yeah, when we lost him, you don't think about losing someone like that in your life. You don't think about that. When someone's really important to you, you just, for whatever reason, I never thought about my dad dying.
After Stephen's tragic death, Tara and her family wondered if there was anyone who knew what they were going through and how they felt, until their WCB case manager introduced them to Threads of Life, a charity that supports the healing journey of families who have suffered from workplace fatalities, traumatic life-altering injuries, or occupational diseases. Through Threads of Life, Tara and her family found a community of people who understood what it meant to lose a loved one in such a sudden and violent way, making them feel less alone. It was a community in which they could remove their masks and be themselves completely, bonded by common trauma. The programs and services Threads of Life offers for families like Tara's would not be possible without the support of generous donors and partners, as well as funds from their annual flagship fundraiser, Steps for Life. Steps for Life is a 5-kilometer family-friendly community walk held annually that aims to educate the community about the devastating ripple effects of a workplace tragedy and how we can work together to prevent others from getting sick, being injured, or killed while at work. For Tara, being this year's National Family Spokesperson is a chance to share her experience, to honor the memory of her father, and to help raise awareness to prevent further tragedies from happening to other families, the ultimate goal of ensuring that every worker comes home safely.
So if I was to convey a message, it would be to just think twice, think 3 times before you complete your task, especially in a safety-sensitive work environment. If you know that your job is inherently dangerous, take the extra step. Take a breath. If you're distracted, if you're tired, take the extra step and think. Every day in Canada, 3 people will die at work. That is far too many.
By participating in Steps for Life, you can raise awareness and help families find support through Threads of Life. Visit www.stepsforlife.ca. Register for free as an individual participant or as a team. You can participate in person at the event or support your community by walking at home. You can fundraise and donate online through the website. Every dollar raised offers hope and healing for families like Tara's. Join us, side by side, stride by stride, as we walk together.